As we move on, the next thing you see are header tags. So these are just defined by bracket H1 and then a closing bracket again. Now these tags are very important and they should appear as close to the top of the page as possible. Typically use these for headlines, which again should contain your keyword. So here's an example, open header tag, keyword, here is my keyword rich headline, and then close the tag. There are also H2 tags, which I tend to use myself as subheadings down the page. Again, you don't want to overuse this to the point where it appears spammy. I generally use one of each and that's enough. If I go back to the page I was creating, you can see here's the start of my H1 tag and here's the end. So if I go back to normal view, this is the H1 tag, so it appears big, and the H2 tag appears smaller by default. And you can always change these as you wish by selecting them and then use the font size down or up option. But essentially it expresses the importance of the term, so you want to have your keyword in your tags there. And again, keep it as close to the top of the page as possible, as the content at the top is the stuff that the search engines are going to index first, so you want this to be as relevant as possible. So using your keywords in your actual content, I aim for keyword density of between 2 to 5%. So this means for every 100 words your keyword could appear 2 to 5 times. I'd say no more than this, otherwise it can be considered spamming, and you don't want to do that. Don't worry too much about getting up to 5% if you can't make it sound natural. Remember, the search engines above all want high quality and relevant results. So make sure first that the content is readable, natural and useful to the end user, and then worry secondly about keyword density. Some other tips you can use. You can also use the strong tags and the I tag to bold and italicize certain keywords in your content. So this one here is in bold. This one here down the bottom is italicized. So just show you the tags for those. Okay, so this is where the strong, keyword rich, where I've just done that and then end the strong. So that just basically bolds that and places emphasis on that keyword there. This tells the search engines that these terms are important and therefore more relevant. But again, don't overuse these. Any over-optimization that you do can actually result in Google penalizing you. The next point is on using images on your site. Images are a great way to express a theme and relevant content on your site. So they're also indexed by the search engines, and there are tips to use to help with optimization when using images. First one is make the file name relevant. So instead of using image.jpg or photo01.jpg, use something like keyword.jpg. The second point is to make use of what's called alt text or alternate text. So this is the description used for people with vision impairments. If they can't see the image, they can have the alternate text which describes the image. So again, you want to make this relevant. I'll show you how this works. So here is my image that I have on the site. Again, you can see the file name is keyword.jpg. If I right click on this and go to image properties, you can see you have a space here for alternate text. So that's where you want to have a sentence describing it, but make sure your keyword's in there somewhere. And you can see this if I go into the source, the img means it's an image tag. So it's telling me the width and height. But here's the important part, the alt tag, alternate tag. In between those quotes again is your keyword rich alternate text. And then src means source. The image source is keyword.jpg. So we're trying to get as much relevance as we can, but without spamming or stuffing the page with too many keywords. And also, if possible, make the text surrounding the image, so the text before and the text after, be relevant as well and have your keywords in it. So if you find there's somewhere where you can have your keywords in your content, two occurrences quite close together, it's always a good idea if you're going to put an image in between those two so that surrounding text is relevant. These are just little tips to help boost the performance of the page. So we want to keep as much of the actual content towards the top of the page in terms of the HTML code, as this is the first thing that search engines will see when they index. So if you do happen to use any JavaScript or CSS code for style sheets, the best thing to do is, instead of placing it all on the page, link to it in a separate file. So what this means is, if I go into the source, quite often for JavaScript, for different things, it's placed up here in between the head tags. So if you've got lines and lines and lines of JavaScript code, all that code there, when the search engines come, first thing they're going to do is they're going to see that. Or if you've got style sheet code, they're going to see that as well. But we want them to start indexing our content first. So what you can do is just have a link to your JavaScript file, just one line of code, and that will pull that from an external source, but then you keep your content towards the top of the page. So then the rest of your page should be your content. Try for a minimum of around 400 words a page, and this should make up the bulk of your page. So if I go back here, okay, I probably haven't got 400 words, but you can see after the header tags and subheadings, I have a section of keyword-rich content. So that should be a minimum of 400 words per page. So this video just goes over creating your first page. I've split this on-page optimization section into two parts, and in the next part I'm going to cover over how you optimize for having multiple pages on your site and the best way to do that. So I'll see you in the next video.